Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. We are back with a brand new review of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 2, Episode 3. Now, I know I didn't do Episode 2, y'all, but listen. I had to take a little break, honey. It really wasn't giving what needs to be gave, so I decided to skip it. And this episode was giving a little bit of zhuzh, but not really. So, yeah, we're going to get into it as we get into it. If you are new here, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of shade and a whole lot of detail. If you are back for a second or third time, then welcome back. Please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you get anything out of the content. All right, y'all, let's get into it if we're going to get into it. When the episode first opens up, Meredith and Seth, they're doing a little FaceTiming because, honey, you know, they stay apart, okay? He had no idea she even had eyes because he's always looking at her chest. Oh, my God, Seth. He is a mess. Over at the beauty lab, Heather is being a boss, and Jenny is picking up her little genius from school. Moving forward, Heather and her business partner are looking over plans to expand, and she said, you know, everybody's doing Zoom calls these days and they're staring at their flaws, and she wants to help them correct those. Let me tell you something, that forward-facing camera will humble you as well. Okay, you be thinking you look a certain way, child, turn that camera forward-facing. Humble you in a minute. You gotta be careful. You know what? I've always wanted to try Botox. Since I laugh so much, I can see like laugh lines, but I'm kind of afraid what's in it, honey. So I think I'll just let nature take its course. I mean, my mom and them still look good, so I think I'll be fine. Moving forward. She FaceTimes Whitney to tell her about the meeting with Jen and in the refrigerator and whatnot. And she's like, yeah, we left BFFs again. She literally could say anything to you, Heather, and you will take her back. Honey, it's like an abusive boyfriend, a toxic relationship with a man. You break up with him, he sends you flowers, or he calls you one day, or he sends you that hey big head text, and y'all back together. Honey, that's a fool. You need to stay far, far away from Jen. Heather, you are too easily impressed, honey. Allow her to earn your trust again. You need to take things slow and don't just jump back in there. But anywho, so she's asking Whitney where she's at with Jen, and she's like, well, I don't really know. You know, I feel like we resolved some things, but she did say she wanted to drown me. But she's like, but you know what? I'll go ahead and give it a try. Child, good luck. In the next scene, Jen goes to meet Lisa and her friend Carrie for a lesson in ski biking. Jen is a little flat in the back, so she was more aerodynamic and whatnot. And I got a little bit too much junk for all that, okay? I've been and fell backwards. It wouldn't be no more good. Do y'all hear me? But it did look like they were having some fun. So then Lisa and Jen sit down. You know, they're the two biggest villains of this season, or of any season, honey. Some people don't like Lisa, some people don't like Jen, honey. So I guess birds of a feather flock together. So they sit down, they start talking about Sharif going to travel. Honey, I'm sure he's excited about that. I'm sure he needs a little break. Jen tells Lisa she's planning an outing for the girls. And then she's like, yeah, but first I'm going to need your name, your weight, your hair color, your eye color, your full name, and that one that's on your ID. I was waiting for her to say the social security number. Child, well, the way they say Jen moving in these streets, honey, I wouldn't trust her with any of my information. Do y'all hear me? And I mean none. So then Jen goes, well, I'm not stealing your identity or anything. Let me tell y'all something. Honey, the jokes write themselves. I was literally about to say, child, she trying to steal your identity. And then she backdoored and said it herself, child. So Lisa's like, yeah, please don't steal my identity. Ha, 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 ha. Lady, you laughing, but honey, you better be careful. So Lisa goes, so what is it? Jim was like, we're going to be doing ice fishing. So why do you need her hair color and her eye color for ice fishing? Honey, I guess in case she end up sleeping with the fishes. Child, I'm not sure, but I would not trust anything Jen Shaw related. Do y'all hear me? So then she tells Lisa, she's like, yeah, you know, I invited everybody, including Meredith. So Jen said, I invited her. This is what she's saying in her confessional. I invited her because I wanted to do the right thing. But just when I thought I have apologized for everything, she's like, no, Jennifer, there's one more issue we haven't discussed. And when I tell y'all, I hollered. And I laughed because I could hear Meredith saying it that way. Child, Meredith said, look, I know you thought we were cool, honey, but we got something else to talk about. And that was hilarious to me. Jen, you like to do things. And then when she offers an apology, she's like, I'm sorry. Then everybody's just supposed to get over it. No, Honey, you keep doing the same thing over and over again, so you're not really sorry. If you were sincere in your apology, honey, you would change your behavior, but you continue to act a fool, which is why I know sooner or later, honey, Sharif gonna run for the hills. So she tells her about the talk she had with Whitney, right? And Lisa was like, yeah, I hear Jen say she hates Heather, and Heather says she hates Jen, but they have like this weird attraction to each other. I don't understand their friendship. It's not one that I want. Oh, honey, you don't want none of the friendship juice? Well, child, neither does Mary, okay? Lisa is not feeling Heather, honey. She was like, I don't think so. She was like, Heather is very manipulative, and I really can do without Whitney as well, because Whitney says that Lisa feels like she's above them. It's the way that Lisa speaks. It's a very condescending tone. It just screams, I'm highbrow and you're my valet or something like that. I don't know. It's just the way that she talks. Jen wants Lisa to change their perception of her by being the Lisa that Jen knows. Child, this the blind leading the blind. Moving forward. Mary and her son go to eat lunch, and the poor boy is like, Mom, can I get a cookie too? Honey, isn't he 18 years old? And that was so weird to me. I'm like, child, she don't allow him to eat sweet. So what is happening? So they sit down to eat, and child, he goes straight in. She's like, well, did you pray over your food? Now, that is important, okay? Now, I'm with you. I'm kind of with you on that, Mary, but you're going to lose me a little bit later, but you with me right now. She's like, I love Robert, but even now I have to tell him, did you wear a Jimmy? Honey, not a Jimmy. I haven't heard it called that in so long, child. Not a Jimmy hat. She's like, cover it up. You don't want it coming home purple. Child, if he dealing with women that's going to come home purple, honey, what y'all got going on up there? Is it going to be from the cold, or what's going to be happening? Are they going to be having sex in that refrigerator that Jen took Heather to? Honey, I'm just confused. Not a purple peen. So then they bless the food, but not before Mary treats him like a toddler. She's like, you need to say it louder. Pray louder, okay? Pray louder for the people in the back. Mary gonna correct the prayer if she don't do nothing else, child. She said, your dad thinks you want to move out. Do you want to move out? Tell me the truth. He's like, sometimes. Well, honey, you won't allow him to grow up, think for himself, feed himself, dress himself. Did you pick out his clothes today? Honey, I know it's hard to let go, but you have to let go. She's like, so you want your freedom? He said, yeah. She goes, do you want to go to the army? Girl, what in the, how do we get to the, okay, child. I don't, let's just go with it. Child, Mary is a character to end our characters. Do y'all hear me? Honey, let's just go with it. She's like, if you go there, you can move out. The army? Oh, no, ma'am, honey. She's like, it'll give you more energy so you won't be lazy. He said, I'm not sure yet. Mary said, his dad went to the army and he is who he is because of it. So trust me, he's going. Girl, you cannot make him enroll in the army. Honey, I'm sure you've been watching the commercials where he can be all that he can be in the U.S. Army or whatever the commercial says. But child, this boy here looks stoned, first of all, allegedly. And he don't want to go to no army, okay? Let me tell you something. It's a story time. It's not really a story time. My son's father went to the army and he has a little tick about him, honey, and I cannot be bothered with another army man. Now, that's just me. And I pray that my son does not want to go to the army. So, Mary, please stop trying to influence that man to go into the army, child. Child, Mary is talking about the army like it's the Maldives. It is not a vacation. Child, the boy can barely eat. And she's like, go to the army, please. Would you like to go to the army? I can book you a flight to the army. It doesn't work that way, honey. I guess she's hoping it'll make him a man. But child, this right here is a fool. In the next scene, Jenny and her family, they're making elephant toothpaste. She said every Saturday her daughter does a science experiment. Let me tell you something. Her daughter, Carolyn, she is the star of this season, okay? This little girl has star quality. I don't know if her parents have realized that. Honey, I don't know if they're trying to give her the zhuzh that needs to be given. But honey, she has star quality. Honey, I'm here to tell you. Do y'all hear me? Anywho, she loves science, and I think that's great. I hope she can one day come up with a cure for cancer, honey, because we hate it. Do you hear me? So I'm hoping that all these little mixtures you're doing and all this science that you love and all these books that you're reading, you can help us one of these days, Carolyn, honey, because we need you. So Jenny and Dewey, they go sit down. Now this scene right here, I see why she didn't want to be bothered with you, Dewey. So anywho, Jenny and Dewey, they sit down and he tells her, he wants more kids. So then she tells us that she had 9 miscarriages and 3 C-sections. That is a lot on one woman's body. Men have the easy part. All they got to do is get you pregnant. But they don't realize what it takes to actually bring a baby into the world, not to mention the emotional scarring. So she was like, the doctor advised me not to have any more kids because it could be life-threatening. She said, I feel like he is being heartless talking about kids with me when he's a doctor and he knows the risk. He's being heartless and insensitive. Do we, honey? Basura. Moving forward. In the next scene, Heather and her daughters are hanging out, and Heather is telling us again that she wants her daughter to bring back the Girls Gone Wild days of yesteryear. Honey, we know you want her to pop it for pimp, but can you please stop relaying it to us? Like, she wants her to be wild and enjoy life. Now listen, I agree on enjoying life while you're young, but not giving BJs to all the frat boys. Okay, ciao. So her daughter said, I don't really know if I want to go back to the Mormon church. And she's like, wow, I'm really happy that you're able to have such conviction at such a young age. Her other two daughters were like, yes, we would also like to make a decision, and that is to go back to the Mormon church. And Heather was very supportive of that. In the next scene, Meredith and Brooke Marks and her blazers, they're having friends over to take a look at her new collection. So they all start oohing and eyeing over these blazers, child. And then the producer asks Mary, how would you describe Meredith's clothing style? Here she go. Are you really asking me this? Yes, he is, ma'am. What's the answer? She's like, okay, get it right, Mary. Don't say the wrong thing. Her style is, okay, wait a minute. Let's carry the one. Dang, she's going to see this. Jesus is going to see this. Okay, her style is Meredith Marks. And that's her style for me. Say what now? Not her style is Meredith Marks. Child, I know you're not shading Meredith when you look like a thrift store threw up on you. Child, just because you own it and it has a name brand on it doesn't mean you should wear it all at once, honey. It's not cute. Listen, I hope she don't send G.O.D. after me. Because y'all know her tagline, child. She said, you mess with me and she will send Jesus your way. So apparently Brooks and Mary have become really good friends because of their disdain for Jen. I'm like, what? It's really giving an enemy of hers is a friend of mine type thing. So Brooke starts telling Mary about how he feels about Jen liking disparaging comments about him on Twitter. And let me tell you something. I know everybody has something about Brooks, honey. He gets on, your nerves and whatnot. He uses his full government name to seem more important than he actually is. But let me just say this. Cyberbullying is not okay. He feels bad about it. Okay, yes, he made the comment about he could see Jen's vagine, honey. Well, she was grinder and opening her legs and whatnot, and honey, he didn't want to see it, okay? So he made that comment. But I do feel like he feels bad about people tweeting things about him and saying things about him that are disparaging. So I kind of really felt bad for him in this moment. But please stop forcing Brooks on us, okay? We don't want it. We want Carolyn, and that's it. Moving forward. So Meredith said Jen is speculating about his sexuality when he hasn't discussed that with Jen or anyone else. Look, trying to out someone or hint at something related to their sexuality, that's wrong. Even if it is apparent to you and I or whoever, okay? Whoever you deem it apparent, it's not okay. Jen really needs to cut that out. Child, let him tell his truth in his own timing. And let me tell you something, as a mom, I can see why Meredith would be upset because I'm going to defend mine to the death of me. Do you hear me? I don't care if he's 99 years old. You say something about my child that I birthed, it's going to be on. Moving forward. So Mary says, so why don't you call her and ask her why she's doing that? So Meredith tells her about the outing that she was invited to. And Mary said, okay, so that's your chance to tell her how you feel. Since you got the invite, tell her you're hurting my family and you need to stop it. This is the open door because this woman is almost 50 years old. So it took Mary to tell you to do that. So you mean to tell me you've said nothing to Jen before now? Girl, all them assistants y'all got and you couldn't have found one that could have contacted an attorney to send Jen a cease and desist? Her and her Twitter fingers, or her and her assistant's Twitter fingers, or whoever Twitter fingers. Stop tweeting and liking things about my child. Girl. So then out of nowhere, Mary goes, everybody be silent because I need to poot. Oh my God. Oh. Oh my God. She's like, Meredith knows this. I need peace and quiet to fart. Okay. Oh, child, that was so disgusting to me. Let me tell you something. I don't like bodily fluids. I don't like when people burp and belch. I don't like when people pass gas. I don't like bodily fluids. But honey, I guess if you're going to be on TV, this was the most real, inappropriate thing that I've seen come across reality TV in a while. Now, you want your son to be prim and proper and straight-laced and show his manners, but you can pass gas on national TV? Girl, goodbye. I'm not about to play with you. She's like, that's what talking about her makes me do. Well, child, if she making you gassy, it's best for y'all to stay apart. Moving forward, it's time for the ice fishing. Jen and her her assistant, Stewart, honey, they show up, child, because you know what they saying in the streets about Stewart and Jen, honey, the people is talking. So when they first got there, child, the instructor made Jen think the ice was breaking, honey. They running back and forth and yelling and whatnot. And I was like, dang, y'all gotta do all that to ice fish? So Whitney and Heather, they're on their way, and we know they're nervous, especially Whitney. And she reminds us that Jen said she would drown her in the lake behind her house. So she brought a life jacket so she could break the ice. So they're both nervous to see Lisa because they still have beef. She said, I just feel like Lisa is attracted to me or something. Whitney, girl, please don't start. In the other car are Jen and Lisa, and they don't know if Meredith is going to show up because of the issues with Jen. Listen, if I had an issue with somebody, the last thing I am going to do is go on ice with them, honey, where it could potentially break. Oh, no, ma'am, honey, you and I catch me on no ice. So Jenny was like, I've known Meredith for a while, and what I've gathered is that she likes to hold grudges and hold on to things, and she'll ice you out, and that doesn't work with me and who I am. Well, honey, you have not felt Jen's wrath yet. Just stay around a little longer. Moving forward. In the next scene, Whitney and Heather, they walk up. They're finally there. And as they're walking up, it's so funny because Jen is describing them to a T. She's like, these two right here, they're rowdy. So as they're walking up, they're like, yeah, let's get it started. And so then she says, and if this one tries to hit on you, are we responsible for sexual harassment? The dude is like, no, you're good, honey, because he thought it was going to be Whitney hitting on him, honey, but she was really talking about Heather. And then as they're walking up, here's Heather. Ooh, we got a tour guide. I'm like, oh my God. So Whitney shows Jen her life jacket to break the ice. And Jen is like, we've moved past that. I'm Zen Jen now. Well, honey, you gonna be Pen Jen if they find you guilty of them crimes they've been saying you doing, allegedly. We got Zen Jen over on Salt Lake City. We got Zen Win over on Potomac. And neither one of these heifers know anything about Zen. So please leave Zen out of your name just because it rhymes. Girl, goodbye. So Jen shows them the trophy she brought, and Heather let Jen know that she has to leave early to present her daughter to the drill team and whatnot. So then Jen starts doing these movements, right? With that hat, dressed in all black like she was, all I could think of is, we are a part of a rhythm nation. Shout out to Janet Jackson. That is exactly how Janet's Rhythm Nation dancers were dressed when they had that video. Child, I was like, child, not Janet Jackson. Not an homage to Janet. So here comes Lisa and Jenny. Jenny. Every time I hear Jenny's name, that's all I think about is Forrest Gump. And everyone is playing nice. They all talking and whatnot. Hey, girl. Oh, my God. Good to see you. Jen says she knows Heather through Beauty Lab, and anybody with a pole in their house, they're very popular. So she knows Whitney. Child, and then Lisa actually spoke to Whitney, honey. She was shocked. I was shocked. Everybody was shocked. Mary kept it real and said, look, I don't do fishing, so I ain't coming. I said what I said, and I ain't changing it. I know that's right. I know that's right. Baby, one thing you gonna get from Mary is the real, okay? They start ice fishing and whatnot, and it actually looked pretty fun. I was looking at it, I was like, okay. It looked like it could be a little bit of fun, honey, with the exception of all that running, honey. I'm not going to be able to do all that running back and forth. No, ma'am. Nothing, honey, but you got to get the cardio in when you can, I guess. So as they're getting into it, Meredith shows up. Child, and she was stomping across that ice, and I'm like, Jen is on thin ice, literally. Do y'all hear me? So Meredith shows up per Mary's advice, and she said, all these heifers running back and forth, but I have a bigger fish to fry, and her name is Jennifer Shaw. Oh, child, not Jennifer. So she's sitting over there with Lisa, and she's like, were you not going to come? And Meredith said, no, I definitely wasn't going to come, but I pivoted last minute. Yeah, she pivoted when Mary pooted, okay? That's when she pivoted. She said, I need to address things with Jen. So Jen goes over to the group, and it's Lisa, Meredith, and Jen. And then all of a sudden, you see Heather and Whitney sitting over there, right? So she's like, listen, I struggled, and I didn't want to ruin anything. I really appreciate you getting all of the girls together, but your actions don't align with your words. She said, I was very clear, if you want to be friends with me, you won't speak bad about my family. So she tells her about the tweets and the Zoom that she did questioning Brooke's sexuality. Now, I feel like she was clear, concise, to the point. She let it be known, listen, this is what I will not tolerate in a friendship. My family is off limits. She was straight up with her. She said those are homophobic and microaggressions toward a young adult that hasn't determined where he stands yet. And it's horribly painful for a person to talk about it when they're not ready. So she's like, I need to know that you're against homophobic hate and you support the LGBTQ community. So Jen is like, what? What are you talking about? What? She's like, so you didn't tweet calling him a sissy witch? She's like, no, I didn't tweet that. I didn't even like that tweet. Jen, you liked it. The same way you tweeted about Heather, honey. The same way you tweeted those things about Heather is the same way you like this tweet, honey. Just own it. Let me tell you something. I hope your defense is working with you when it's time for you to take the stand, honey, because the way that you defend yourself, honey, you're going to be locked up because this don't make no sense. She was like, well, no, it wasn't me. Like, what are you talking about? Okay, Shaggy. Meredith is like, well, that's just one of the 20 or 30 comments that were hostile toward my family. Of course, Jen is like, I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, I never talked about Brooke's sexuality. And what's not there is I have somebody who runs my stuff, so it's not me. Well, honey, they need to be fired. So the people who run your Twitter, they don't tell you anything about the tweets that they're liking. Okay, they have your name attached to them. Girl, please, you can sell that to somebody who's buying it. Honey, maybe you need to cut down on your assistants and not have 59 of them, and maybe you could understand which one of them is tweeting on your behalf. Girl, please. So Meredith is like, you know what? It's your stuff. It's your Twitter. She's like, you know what? I'm done. I can't take the deflecting and the denying and the lying. I can't take it. So Lisa is trying to calm Meredith down, honey, but she is 38 hot. Do y'all hear me, honey? As she should be. I hate for people to play in my face. Okay, and act like they don't know what I'm talking about when clearly I'm seeing it with my own eyes. Lisa is trying to get Jen to talk to Meredith while they're all trying to get them to talk. Heather is over there spilling hot chocolate all over Jen's phone and her belongings and whatnot. Jen goes over, but Jenna has had enough. She's like, look, do you want to be her friend? Jen's like, yeah, I want to be her friend. She's like, okay, then you need to listen to each other. Like the damage is already done. Jenny, fall back, honey, because let me tell you something. If somebody was talking about Carolyn and the gang, you would have a whole fit. Okay, this is her child at the end of the day. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, I'm Team Meredith. Even though, you know, Brooks can get on my nerves and whatnot, honey, you will not talk about my kid and think you're going to get away with it. And Jen likes to lie, honey. She got a little lying problem. So Jen goes over. She's talking. The peanut gallery in the back is even funnier, okay? Heather is like, man, Jenny is throwing down over there. She's winning all the trophies today. I'm like, this is a fool. So Whitney and Heather are sitting in the abyss, honey. They're trying to hear what's happening and see what I was doing. Meredith is trying to explain the damage. Then Jen goes, but what about my kids? Girl, what about them? You embarrass your kids. So then Meredith goes, what did I do to your kids, Jen? What did I do to your kids? So she had to think about it for 20 or 30 seconds, right? So then she goes back, well, Brooke referred to my vagina and he's saying things about... Jen, please save it, honey. Honey, you did it, okay? Meredith cannot take Jen deflecting, so she leaves. Honey, the sunglasses are disengaging. She's disengaging. Honey, it's a whole bunch of disengaging. Listen, I'm with Meredith on this. Jen is a gaslighting, mean Sour Patch Kid. First she's mean, then she's sweet until she gets angry again. Honey, I'm glad Meredith called her out because Jen has this group shook. Just like Erica Jane over there on Beverly Hills, honey. The crooks got them shook. And that was the end of the episode. Child, y'all like how I rhymed at the end? The crooks got them shook. Child, this is a fool. And that was the end of the episode, child. Y'all comment down below, honey. It really wasn't giving much, child. They trying, honey. They trying to push on through. But after having to follow Potomac last night, child, it wasn't much they could do, child. Please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I will see y'all in the next one. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.